The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Snickers Bar, the official snack food sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team. And by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
And welcome back to the Boston Garden. The usual capacity crowd on hand as we check out the starting lineups. John Paxson and Michael Jordan open up in the backcourt. Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen are up front. And at center, Bill Cartwright. The coach of the Bulls, Phil Jackson, who last week, as Mike mentioned, signed that 3-year contract extension. For the Boston Celtics, who come in at 43-31. They've won 7 of the last 8. D. Brown, Reggie Lewis in the backcourt. Ed Pinckney starting for the injured Larry Bird up front with Kevin Gamble. And at center, the chief, Robert Parrish. The Celtics, coached by Chris Ford, who is gunning for his 100th coaching win. And right now, to a man who was so confused today, he set his clock ahead only 45 minutes last night because he felt he was 15 minutes ahead of schedule. Here's Ahmad Rashad.
Thank you, Marv. Now, talking about Horace Grant, Johnny Bach says in his words, Horace Grant is a warrior. He, because of his constant attacking type energy, it transmitted to a certain type of spirit that envelops this entire team. I asked Michael Jordan about Horace Grant. He said Horace is our Dennis Rodman because of the way he rebounds and the way he runs the court. When I talked to Horace about everybody talking about the way he plays, he's put it to me like this. If I wasn't in the NBA, I'd be a damn good Marine. And speaking of a few good men, let's go over to Irvin, Mike, and Marv.
All right, Ahmad. The officials today, Mike Mathis, Bernie Fryer, and Louis Grillo. The Chicago Bulls coming off a victory over the LA Clippers on Friday night for win number 61, which ties the club record, most wins in a season for the Bulls, set last year when they finished at 61 and 21. Chicago has won 13 of its last 14. The one loss in that stretch, that surprising defeat at the hands of Orlando a couple of weeks back in Chicago. Michael Jordan, who comes off a rare subpar performance Friday night against the Clippers. Here's Paxson. So the Bulls with a 2-0 lead. As D. Brown comes across for Boston, the Celtics saw a 7-game win streak stop Friday night at Market Square, and Indianapolis lost to the Pacers 101-97. Parrish fronted as Cartwright was able to pick it off.
And one of the things that Bill Cartwright mentioned yesterday when we spoke with him, the fact that if I can get Parrish off the block or keep the ball out of his hands, obviously a big plus.
And Grant fouled as he went to the head fake.
So the foul was on number 54.
Bill Cartwright down low, playing a strong topside defensive position, trying to get in that passing lane, and gets a piece with the left arm, the deflection and steal.
A foul called on Ed Pinckney, so Horace Grant, who, as Ahmad mentioned just a moment ago, has had an outstanding season, not able to hit on his first third of the NBA this year in field goal percentage. Buck Williams of Portland, number 1, at 60% from the field.
Well, he doesn't get enough opportunities in terms of Buck Williams. So sometimes when guys lead the league in field goals, it's deceiving. And Buck is not one of your great shooters.
Yes, Buck does it mostly with putbacks and very close-in opportunities. Here's Reggie Lewis. This is the 4th and final meeting of the regular season between the Bulls and the Celtics. All 3 games have been blowouts. It counts, and the foul, so Scottie Pippen will go to the line. The foul committed by Kevin Gamble.
Part of the triangle offense, a flash post, guard around. In this case, it happens to be a forward around. Scottie Pippen, after hitting the flashing Bill Cartwright, follows for the handoff and the conversion.
The 3 previous games between these 2 clubs The average margin of victory against the Celtics this season, 25 points, to give you an idea of how these games have gone.
Let's go right back to what Magic said in the beginning. The quick start by Chicago, something Boston must try to eliminate already. 6-0.
And a loose ball foul is called. Horace Grant picks up his first, a non-shooting foul, and Gamble will put it in play. Bulls have won 5 of the last 7 against the Celtics. Last year, the Celtics won twice on a buzzer basket by Brian Shaw, and then a double overtime victory on Easter Sunday. Robert Parrish with the Celtics' first field goal. Chicago up 6-2.
That's Boston Celtics' favorite play. D. Brown and Robert Parrish running the old pick and roll play. D. Brown hit Robert for a nice, easy 10-foot.
Here's Cartwright. And we did have a long conversation with Bill last night, and we were talking about the fact that the Bulls like to get him involved very early.
12 quick points in the first quarter against the Clippers in their last game. And then Bill seems to, as always, fade back into the team offense.
Robert Parrish fading for the jump shot. And the Bulls now lead it 8-4.
But Chicago likes to go to Bill for a number of reasons. Get the opposing center in foul trouble, kick the ball down low inside. That's the way they want to establish it. Inside first, then kick back out to play the game.
Up the pass from Jordan, picked off. Here's D. Brown.
A monster dunk. I thought he was just going to lay that one in, and he took it over the top. Beautiful, beautiful dunk by D. Brown off the steal. Boston must create more steals so they can get easy opportunities on their offensive end if they're going to win today.
Brown getting it down to Lewis. Gamble is open. 3.5 gone by in this first quarter. Jordan with a nice backdoor pass, able to hit the reverse. So now all Chicago starters on the scorecard.
One of the nice things about the Chicago offense is the ability the players have to move without the basketball. And then Michael Jordan, for years, from his Carolina days, knowing how to go without it, find it open.
Pippen now played by Gamble. Crowd looking for a travel, and Gamble knocked it away. Celtics with the ball. They're trailing by the score of 10-6. Boston without Larry Bird, a late scratch because of a back drop. D. Brown cuts it to a 2-point Chicago lead.
Well, that time they ran the pick and roll play again. John Paxson went underneath. D. Brown pulled up for the jump shot and knocked it down.
Michael Jordan and Mike Mathis with the foul. Contact made by Reggie Lewis.
A few moments ago, the Chicago offense, a way to stop Jordan from scoring is to deny the ball. But when you deny Michael the ball and he moves without it, you usually wind up with something like that taking place.
Michael had the 5 for 17 against the Clippers on Friday night. However, over the last 5 games, he is shooting 54%. He'd averaged 40 points a game in the 4 games before Friday night against the Clippers. We were talking with Jordan earlier, and I asked, have you ever actually been stopped in a game in recent years? Is it possible, or can he only stop himself?
He can only stop himself.
By having a bad game?
Yes, by being off. No man, no one, no 2 bodies can stop Michael Jordan.
Here's Pinckney. Oh, the penetration by Ed Pinckney to cut the Bulls' lead to 2.
The trademark of the Chicago defense, they like to press early in the game after free throws. They want to see if you're just going to try and get it up and be satisfied or attack and score. The Celtics tried to score.
And John Paxson extends to a 14-10 Chicago lead.
See, that's what makes the Chicago Bulls so dangerous. Michael Jordan, everybody was paying attention to him. Paxson comes off a double pick and nails a jumper.
Lewis from deep. The Bulls with the NBA's best road record. They've won 29. They've They've lost 8. They've won 8 straight on the road. Jordan's pass was deflected out. It will be Chicago ball when we return. The Celtics calling for time.
Is back at the Boston Garden. No pregame show today, so we'll take this brief opportunity to run down the scores from last night. And there were only 3 games. The Houston Rockets are desperate for wins as they attempt to move into the number 8 spot in the West. They beat the Magic 110-101. Hakeem Olajuwon with a well-rounded game, 22 points, 11 rebounds, 8 block shots. So the Rockets move to within a game of the Lakers for the final playoff spot in the West. In Atlanta, the Sixers got a big game out of Charles Barkley, who had 23 points and 15 rebounds, including 2 on this emphatic slam dunk. And Philly knocked off Atlanta and kept their playoff hopes alive. The Hawks dropped into a virtual tie with the Nets, while the Sixers are 2 games back in the battle for the final playoff spot in the East. And the Hornets got 23 points from Kenny Gattison to beat the Bullets 118-109. And Marv, a final note here. As you know, the Celtics have won an NBA record 16 titles. Meanwhile, the long-suffering Red Sox opened their season Tuesday against the Yankees, have not won the World Series since 1918. But one wag here in Boston is guaranteeing a Red Sox World Championship this year, and he goes to history to prove his point. He says correctly, the Red Sox always win the World Series the year after a Russian Revolution. Now let's go back to Marv, Magic, and the Czar. No, not Tsar Nicholas, the Czar of the telestrator.
Oh, Bob hitting comedy on 2 counts here.
Taking advantage of us today.
Yes, but hey, I buy that. No question. Bob also slipping a little baseball into the NBA picture as Brown is able to extend to a 16-10 Chicago Bull lead. D. Brown in the backcourt, along with Reggie Lewis, Kevin Gamble, Ed Pinckney, and Robert Parrish up front.
I think the obvious thing is that someone must pick up the slack. Reggie Lewis with the strong drive and foul by Michael Jordan. Quick first long step there, the explosive step. Now the lane becomes open, and now trying to slam it down. Michael, maybe the best in the league at coming from behind you to get a piece of it.
Man, his recovery time was awesome then. Even Reggie had to step on him. He recovered so quickly and still got a little body because he got all ball.
And it looked
Michael
like
Jordan.
Robert Parrish came up hobbling. He is still bothered by ankle problems.
We're talking to Coach Ford before the game. He said he comes to the locker room and he sits and waits to see who's going to show up and who's able to play. Now that's tough.
Then you coach who's there, right?
Yes.
So Chris takes attendance. Larry Bird not present, unfortunately, for the Celtics today. Here's Jordan from downtown. And Parrish not able to hold on. Pippen. The Bulls lead it 18-12.
I was starting to say a moment ago, the obvious is that the other players must pick up the slack with Bird out. But with Bird being the guy that controls the ball all the time, it's just so hard for them. Like, who does it go through the Celtic offense to make it work? Not just that somebody else has to step forward.
And Parrish was fouled by Cartwright. That's one of the problems the Celtics had earlier in the season. Chris Ford having to juggle. He did not know who would be his starting point guard, with Bird out of action, with McHale out, D. Brown out for a good portion of the season. The shuffling really hurts because you don't know who to look for, and they went through this right throughout the season.
Well, what happens is Kevin McHale gives you the low post scoring that you need to win in the NBA. Now, Larry Bird is the best passer, your best player, so everything goes to him like Coach Patello. That was an excellent move by Michael Jordan. He switched hands and laid it up. So that's why the Celtics have so many problems.
Celtics have lost as D. Brown is able to cut it to a 4-point Chicago lead. Celtics now, including today with Larry Bird out, have lost 164 man games because of injuries this season. Cartwright to the fadeaway, and Lewis able to get to it. That figure more than any other team but Washington. And that is the second field goal for Kevin Gamble. So Boston to this point not permitting the blowout. They're within 2. Cartwright. And it's Gamble on the rebound. Here's Brown. Yes! And the game is tied at 20.
Well, that's the plus of having a point guard like D. Brown, who also does have that scorer's mentality and can get you some quick baskets when you need them.
A 6-0 run by Boston. D. Brown leading the way. He has 8 points. Grant with the pass for Paxson that is deflected out by the Celtics.
When you're playing the Chicago Bulls, you always have to know when the entry pass goes into the center or the power forward, Horace Grant or Cartwright, there's going to be back cuts from every direction, and you must play them back cuts.
It will be Boston ball. Well, the nice move by Michael Jordan, but he could not finish it off. Game tied at 20. Here's Brown beating Paxson. Paxson. Pippen missed the tip. Celtics lead it by 2. Brown blocked from the side angle by Pippen. What a play by Scottie Pippen.
Their defense gives you a little twitch if the other team, it's either Jordan or Pippen coming from behind you.
And Cartwright not able to hit. So Cartwright 1 for 4 here at the start. Crowd getting into it as we come up on 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Reggie Lewis. Pippen's pass broken up. Good hands by the Celtics, and last touch by the Bulls. Phil Jackson calling for time. The crowd responding to this Boston effort. The Celtics today going without Larry Bird, sitting it out because of back spasms. And there is a very clear illustration of what happens when Larry Bird is not on hand. Without Bird, 12 and 17. When Bird is in uniform and on the court, the 31 and 14 Magic. I know you talked with Larry earlier today, and he remained home and in bed.
Yes, he's in bed. He can't get out of bed. He's sore. The leg is because of his spine, his back is making it hard for him to walk right now. He's hoping that he can get back next week. And I told him I came 3,000 miles to see him play, and he's home and in bed. I'm here at the Boston Garden, and he's not here.
Nerve.
Yes. So he told me he owes me a great game.
Ed Cooley giving Boston a 24-20 lead, and the Celtics have reeled off 10 unanswered. Chicago has missed its last 6 shots. B.J. Armstrong, who had a good one the other night, has come on for the first time. Scottie Pippen cuts it to a 2-point Celtic lead. Kevin McHale on the floor for the Celtics. He is up front now with Pinckney and Gamble. Gamble wide open. Oh! And they'll jump it up. Pinckney and Cartwright on the tie-up.
There aren't too many times against the Chicago defense that you get that good a look at the rim, because they're usually chasing you hard, right in your face, challenging shots. That time, Gamble wide open, good screening down the baseline.
Well, he told me this morning he has to get 15 shots or more for him and the Celtics to be effective today.
Kevin McHale, who has had a host of injury problems this season, this 26 games with ankle and calf difficulties. Wonderfully done. Reggie Lewis going backdoor to give the Celtics a 4-point lead. Kevin McHale shooting very well as of late, 65% the last 6 games. Here is Armstrong. Grant keeping it alive. And Pinckney stepped out of bounds. So the ball back to Chicago.
Now, Reggie Lewis isn't doing this just against any guy. He's doing it against Michael Jordan, who may be the best defensive guard in the league when he gets down and plays you. So, as Jordan mentioned earlier, Lewis is a problem because of his size when he gets down low and posts up.
Well, the only way you can attack Michael Jordan, I feel, is down low. And if you got a big guard like a Reggie Lewis who can post him up and attack him down low, you can be effective with him. He's too big and too quick out front. Turnaround jumper by Michael then. He jumped right over Reggie Lewis and returned the favor just then.
Jordan has 8 points, and the Celtics lead it 26-24 as we come up on 1 minute to go in this first quarter. Holding foul, according to Bernie Fryer, the outside official. Armstrong picking up his first.
In the last game that the Bulls played against the Los Angeles Clippers, John Paxson started out the game, shot 4 for 5. Phil Jackson took him out, brought in B.J. Armstrong. He winds up going 8 for 10, 20 points off the bench for them. Not a bad point guard duo for Chicago. Unheralded, but very, very good.
B.J. Armstrong is averaging over 16 points a game against the Celtics, so they're going to have to do something with him today if the Celtics are going to win. B.J. is playing awfully well right now for Chicago.
And had a career high 22 in Boston back in November. McHale tripped up, and he'll go to the line. The Celtics want a goaltend. They will not get that.
Celtics questioning whether or not the ball was on the glass already when Pippen went up there and stopped it from going in. Referee saying you're allowed to take it to the glass and pin it there.
Foul committed by Bill Cartwright. So Kevin McHale to the foul line. I mentioned the injury suffered by Kevin McHale. That after missing the preseason after having surgery reversing a ligament damage that he had on his left ankle. Look at what the Celtics were complaining about.
Well, you can take the ball to the glass, and that's what he did. He just took the ball to the glass with his hand, so it was a good no call.
Boston leading 28-24. Here's Pippen, and that will count. Offensive interference as McHale knocked it aside.
As the Bulls like to do, when that clock gets in 40 seconds, they open the floor up, put it in either Jordan or Pippen's hands, basically go into a 1-4, four-corner type of offense, and let that guy in the middle beat his man off the dribble. That time it was Pippen.
McHale wide open. Rebounded by Will Perdue, who has come on for Bill Cartwright. And the Bulls holding for a final shot of the quarter. Down to 10 seconds. Jordan setting against Lewis. Off the spin. Recovered by Pippen. And time is run out. So that's the end of the first. The Boston Celtics sparked by that man in his second year out of Jacksonville. D. Brown hitting 5 for 7 for 10 points. And the Celtics lead the Bulls by the score of 28-26. One quarter complete. We'll be back in Boston in a moment. Back in Boston, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, a cast of thousands. And Magic, a report came across yesterday. Juan Antonio Samaran, the president of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, said he does not expect you to play in the Summer Olympic Games. He said he does not believe that you will be in shape to compete. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I will be ready. I will be in shape, and I can't wait to win the gold medal.
Tell Juan that I have an extra copy of the All-Star Game tape in case they can look at it.
Well, I didn't want to mention that I got ready for that, just like I'll get ready for the Olympics. I mean, I'm a professional. I know what I have to do, and I will be out running, playing, and working out every day.
As you go through the workouts, are there any doubts on your mind?
No. Just like when preparing for the All-Star Game, it was never a doubt in my mind that I would be able to play and compete and do the same things I was doing when I was playing. And the same thing holds true for the Olympics.
What about the fact, as the second quarter gets underway, it is a different level of competition. The All-Star Game is not exactly heated action as opposed to the Olympics, although it figures that the United States should be able to ramrod its way over most of the competition. However, there will be more at stake. All-Star Game is more of an exhibition.
Well, we got a whole month of practice and games to qualify to really get ready before we even go to Barcelona. So that'll give me time to work on the things that I need to work on, getting your win, getting back to playing in a competitive atmosphere, because I have that in practice. So I'm not concerned. This is not an issue with me, and it shouldn't be an issue with anybody else, because I will be ready. I'll be the first one to remove myself if I wasn't ready.
I'd say 29-28. Chicago lead. In the first quarter, the Bulls opened up with a good shooting, 8 for 11 at the start, but then cooled off, finished 11 for 22, while the Celtics 11 for 20, led by D. Brown, who had 10 points. Pippen going all the way, rebounded by McHale. Most unusual to see the Chicago Bulls to this point. Great pass from Brown, finding Lewis, and Lewis hit by Purdue will go to the line. Bulls having some trouble finishing plays off here in the first half.
It's one of the things that happened to Michael Jordan in the last game when you mentioned he had one of those very, very unusual, what we would call weaker performances from Michael Jordan. He had a lot of shots that he normally gets, but just didn't put them down. Pippen there, not finishing off on the great drive to the basket. So sometimes those things happen.
This is why I say it's going to be hard for them to win 69 games, because it's no incentive for them. I mean, what is the incentive for them really to go to the hole hard? They've already clinched. They know they have home court throughout the playoff, and they don't. If they were in a different situation, they would go to the hole hard, dunk that last one. Pippen would have dunked that in a big game, in a game that meant something. Right now, these games don't mean a lot for them.
Michael Jordan able to hit, and the Bulls lead it by one. Are you saying there's something psychological then involved here?
Exactly. And then I think it's a letdown, too, with Larry Bird not being here.
Reggie Lewis. So Boston takes a one-point lead.
On the other side of it, in their last game, in the second quarter, by halftime, Phil Jackson had played all 12 Chicago Bulls. Grant, for example, played 12 straight to start, never got back in again until the third quarter. We see here that Jordan, Pippen, Grant still on the floor in the second quarter for Chicago.
D. Brown sitting down. John Bagley has come on. So the Celtics with Kevin McHale, Ed Pinckney, and the rookie Rick Fox up front. Bagley and Lewis at the guards. Pinckney posting up on Grant. Here, Jordan, Armstrong, and Purdue all say same team. Reggie Lewis continuing with the matchup on Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan showing the outside touch. He now has 12 on 5 out of 8 from the field. Here is Lewis able to answer, and the Celtics lead it 34-33 with 2.5 gone by in the second.
Because of the matchups that Boston had at one end against Chicago in transition down the other way, Michael Jordan just couldn't get to Lewis in time. Pippen got over there a little bit too late to help out.
Now the Celtics on the run. Fox. Oh, pretty pass for Pinckney. And here comes Pippen going all the way. Well, that one he put down with authority.
Yes, because he knew the other one he had blew, and he wanted to come back to show everybody this is the real Pippen.
And Kevin McHale gives Boston a one-point lead. Good pace here in the second quarter.
Talking about Scottie Pippen, right now in the game of basketball, he's the best at getting the ball off the board and going coast to coast. Michael Jordan just hit about a 15-foot jump shot. He's warming up right now.
Bulls by one. Yes, the feeling by many is that Pippen has elevated his game to a level near Michael Jordan. Jordan, of course, the focal point of the Chicago offense. And Boston leads by one, but you get the idea that Pippen prefers to let the game come to him. But that would be the difference between the two.
That's his game. Back cut again, same thing, dunk by Pippen. They run that constantly all game. You cannot turn your head when Pippen or somebody passes it into the post. They're always going to cut to the basket.
Because their offense is based on reading the defense. If the defense tries to deny, take away, pass, you go without it.
Oh, John Bagley able to penetrate. Boston leads 40-39. While the Bulls have picked up their shooting, they have not been able to stop the Celtics. Pippen keeping it alive. Pippen going glass. Loose ball foul against Chicago. And a timeout has been called with 7:23 to go. First half. We have been discussing the talents of that man, Scottie Pippen, and he has certainly emerged over the last several seasons. Take a look at Scottie's rise to fame. Not recruited by a major university, attended Central Arkansas, was actually the team manager for a while at Central Arkansas. That was back in '84. Then off some good showings at some draft camps. He was the 5th pick overall in '87, went on to become an NBA All-Star, and his play has risen to the point where he also was selected to the U.S. Olympic team. Scottie Pippen, the youngest of 12 children from a small town in southern Arkansas.
Well, even Scottie Pippen's rise to fame sometimes leaves him just a little bit short in trying to finish his drives to the basket. But one thing about him, when he makes a mistake once, he tries to correct it immediately when given a second opportunity. And part of the Bulls offense, which Pippen and Michael Jordan do so well, go without the basketball once you hit the post, and if he can find the handle, he usually finds a way to finish.
There's not many beautiful basketball players. Scottie Pippen is a beautiful basketball player to watch play. The grace, the jumping ability, the passing. Scottie Pippen, beautiful basketball player to watch.
And Scottie's sitting down. Now, Bobby Hansen has checked in for the first time. As you mentioned, Mike, Phil Jackson looking to use the entire roster. Here's Bagley eluding Armstrong. Armstrong off the interception.
But as has been the case the entire season, BJ, the nice move to the basket. Either Pippen or Jordan will always be on the floor for Chicago while the game still is in balance. And with Pippen resting, it's now Jordan's turn to run the show for him. When Jordan sits down, Pippen will be there.
Reggie Lewis providing the Celtics with a 42-41 lead. Scott Williams has come on for the first time for Chicago, matched with Kevin McHale. Scott, second-year player from North Carolina. Here is Jordan, rebounded by McHale. Setting the Celtics, John Bagley, Reggie Lewis are at the guards. Robert Parrish has returned. He is up front, along with Kevin McHale and Rick Fox. Oh, nice fake by Parrish. Stopped from behind by Purdue. Shot clock is down to 4. Here's Bagley, stripped by Jordan. Has a 3-on-2, and he's fouled by Lewis.
In talking to Phil Jackson yesterday and mentioning if is there a weak point with this team, he said, I'm not real happy with our defense. With 6 minutes remaining, 42 points already for Boston. Let's see if they tighten up down the stretch.
Today on NBC is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Pennzoil, the motor oil that outperforms any leading motor oil against viscosity breakdown. And by Miller Lite, the great beer that's less filling. It's it, and that's that.
Back at the Boston Garden, the Celtics over the Bulls by 1. We mentioned that last week Phil Jackson was signed to a 3-year contract extension, and we talked about it with him last night.
Coaches are movable objects in NBA basketball. You're hired to be fired is a common phrase that people use, but more than that, from a standpoint of my family, gives my kids a chance to finish school in one place, which is unusual situation for most NBA kids. It also, career-wise, gives us an idea of how to plan to extend this team somewhat along the areas of the direction that I like to coach the basketball team, which is pressure, defense, up court. And, you know, seeing the careers of Jordan, Pippen, and Grant, which are really a young nucleus, continue into that middle age period of, you know, 30s, and the transition that goes along with that. That's going to be an interesting time period.
And Michael Jordan, who has not quite hit middle age in terms of basketball, able to hit off that terrific head fake to give Boston, or rather Chicago, a 1-point lead.
Phil Jackson talking about defense. This Bulls team, 99+ a game they give up. 3rd best in the NBA behind Detroit and New York.
But thus far in this first half, you saw Parrish give Boston the 1-point lead. Chicago has not been able to get any stops at all on the Celtics.
That's a lot of points to give up for Chicago this early in a basketball game.
Now Jordan operating against Fox. Yes. Well, he straightened out the net.
That's for sure. But where the Celtics are having success is that they're driving the ball, penetrating, kicking off for easy layups or easy 5, 10-foot shots. And so D. Brown and Bagley are doing a good job so far.
And the foul is called on Bobby Hansen. Well, next Saturday, another edition of NBA Inside Stuff, the entertainment show of the NBA, hosted by Ahmad Rashad and Willow Bay. You'll see some of the Golden State Warriors take on the music industry as they hammer it out on the Rap Stars' latest video. NBA Inside Stuff next Saturday, 12 noon Eastern on NBC. Michael Jordan sitting down. Scottie Pippen has returned. And again, a foul is called. Scott Williams picks it up. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Boston with the ball. They are down by 1. Crowd urging Fox to shoot. And he does! Rick Fox from downtown. Boston leads 47-45.
Well, I guess he must be the new three-point shooter since Larry Bird is out. But the crowd can sometimes make you make shots that normally you would miss.
Here's Bagley off the steal. Strong back. Bagley pulling his way in.
They didn't get good spacing on that 3-on-2, and that's why John Bagley was left with the ball and took a really not a good shot. When you have a 3-on-2, you must kick it to the wingman and let them make the decision.
He actually got in too deep that time, had nowhere to go with it.
Right.
Armstrong shaking off Bagley. Harris with the good box out on Purdue.
Excellent left-hand outlet pass.
Fox again for 3.
Well, sometimes you can get a little bit too happy. So he should have really just slowed it down and work a play because they got the momentum right now. Boston is really playing good basketball.
Purdue to the hook. Scott Williams gets it back for Scottie Pippen, and he's fouled by Rick Fox.
A moment ago, Magic was talking about spacing on the fast break. When the shot goes up here by Chicago, you'll see the Celtics start to get out and fill the lanes. First thing, the steal produced. Now, as we stop it right there, you'd like to have 3 lanes filled and the ball centered up so you have an option of passing either direction. You can see 2 players go to the left. Bagley gets caught too deep, misses the easy shot.
Scottie Pippen, only 2 out of 4 from the foul line. Michael Jordan is back. Bobby Hansen sitting down. Bobby Hansen making it back from shoulder and knee problems. Played only 36 games with Sacramento last year. Most of his career spent with the Utah Jazz.
A tough, very tough defensive player, a guy who will compete everywhere. Bobby Hansen is just a good basketball player, solid.
22nd timeout is taken by Boston. Well, this is the 4th and final meeting of the season between the Bulls and the Celtics. And, of course, the Bulls have had the great success recently against Boston, but you go back a bit to the better days of the Boston Celtics, and head-to-head in the playoffs, 81, Boston with a 4-0 sweep, 86, 3-0 in the first round, 87, same thing.
Well, Magic, the one thing that's kind of deceiving about that is there were a lot of teams that wound up looking that way with the Celtic teams from a few years ago.
And if the playoffs were to end today, in the first round, it would be Detroit against Boston. I should say if they were to begin today, and then New Jersey would go up against Chicago, and it could be a Boston-Chicago meeting down the line in the second round. Serving up a facial to give the Celtics a three-point lead.
Well, is there such a thing as trying to send a message this early with a game that some people feel doesn't have a lot of significance behind it?
Yes, because once you got a team down that you think that you're going to face in the playoff, you want to keep them down. The Bulls got the Celtics down 3-0. They've been blowing them out all 3 games. Right now, the Celtics want to say, look, if you're going to play me in the second round, you're going to have to really play good basketball to beat us.
Foul was called on Parrish. Timeout has been taken with 2:52 to go. First half. Who is the best point guard in the NBA? The Lakers involved in a battle for that final playoff spot in the Western Conference. Half game behind the Clippers and only 1 game in front of Houston.
Well, they met a week ago in Utah, and the Lakers beat Utah. And I think they'll be coming back for some revenge. And also, the Lakers have to play well because they're battling Houston for that final spot, and they need all the wins they can get in these last 7 or 8 games.
Will Perdue has been struggling at the foul line, able to hit on 1 out of 2. Boston 49, Chicago 47. With 2:45 remaining. First half, Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Magic Johnson, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas on hand at the Boston Garden. Dee Brown is back on the floor. Here's Parrish. Lost the grip. Now Jordan met by Brown. Armstrong for 3. The air ball fielded by Pippen, so Scottie Pippen now has 17 points, and he's tied the game at 49. Dee Brown had the strong first quarter, leading the way with 10. Reggie Lewis now the high man for Boston with 12. Jordan leads Chicago with 18. Brown, rebound Parrish. Boston leading by 2.
Even though Dee Brown had the strong first quarter, they're still double teaming off of Dee Brown, making him make shots, and on the pick and rolls, they're still going underneath the screen, saying go ahead and pull up and shoot it if you want to. So maybe not a real strong belief that he will continue to make the perimeter shot.
But what he has to do is take the pick and roll down further, down toward the baseline, where he can get, instead of a 22-footer, get like a 15 or 12-foot jump shot.
McHale battling for the rebound. The Boston Celtics at 43 and 31. They're second in the Atlantic, 5 games behind the New York Knicks, who are playing at Cleveland later on this afternoon. The run of the Knicks appears to be difficult. 5 games now behind on the loss column with 8 to play. McHale. The Celtic battle appears to be for home court advantage in the first round against Detroit. Coming into today, Boston is 1 game in front of the Pistons. Just under 1 minute to go in the half. Jordan, met by McHale, had to make a change, leading to the turnover, and a 3-on-1. Brown for Gamble. Boston leads 53-49.
There's the spacing that Magic wanted before. Well, they just got it that time. Both lanes filled. Ball movement, middle to side, back to middle, and then the conversion.
Armstrong off the fake. So BJ has the touch once again, and the Celtic lead is 2. Armstrong with his second field goal, coming off the 8 for 10 on Friday against the Clippers. Brown with a strong move to his left, but the shot deflected. Pippen saving. It'll be Boston ball.
A moment ago, the Celtics got an opportunity to run a fast break. The key thing is to get the ball out and fill the lanes quickly. A steal to the side, center it up, lanes are filled, ball movement, and then the conversion. Just what you want.
Now 15 seconds to go. First half, Celtics lead it by 2. Williams jumping out. They double up on Brown, and the foul committed.
A little change that time in the defense by Chicago, double teaming or trapping the basketball rather than sliding underneath, as we had just mentioned they were doing from the beginning of the game. Something that Chicago likes to do. Change during the course of the game. Don't give the same look.
That double team could really be good with a smaller man like Dee Brown, who really can't pass over the double team. So I think the Bulls should go to that more often.
John Paxson checking in for long-range possibilities in the final seconds. Will Perdue sitting down. Boston Celtics are the best free throw shooting team in the NBA at 81%. They lead now by 4. Down to 5 seconds. Here's Armstrong. So that's the end of the first half. The crowd responding to the Boston effort without Larry Bird. Well, we mentioned at the start, Robert Parrish would have to step up. He has. He's 5 out of 7. 12 points. Parrish, Lewis, and Brown each have 12. Jordan leading Chicago with 18. Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, Bob Costas will join Magic for the latest NBA news. First, we'll check in with Dick Enberg and Charlie Jones for tennis and golf. The Celtics with a 55-51 lead on the Bulls. Moments ago, Ahmad chatted with Chicago coach Phil Jackson.
All right, thanks, Marv. Now, Phil, one of the things that you mentioned, that you were worried about your team defense down the stretch. They've scored quite a few points the first half.
Well, we've had good pressure on, but I think sometimes our pressure has cost us a couple of easy baskets, but it's the tempo we like. We want them to have to work real hard to score, and we like the upbeat tempo of this first half. And, you know, I told the guys you have to adjust to the type of game it is. Sometimes you don't get all the calls you want. You got to adjust to the circumstances out on the floor and make the adjustments necessary to, you know, perform in a game like this. And, you know, this is Boston after all, right?
Yeah, that is where we are.
Hi, Mom. Back in Big Park.
What about the scoring on your side? Jordan and Pippen doing all the scoring. You want them to spread it around a little bit?
They'll get to it. You know, right now the challenge of double teams has stimulated them. Let's just say it that way. But Pax and BJ and the other guys will help us out.
All right, good luck to you in the second half, Phil. All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, Ahmad, that biting North Dakota sense of humor by Phil Jackson.
Coming out of his shell with the new contract.
Yes, that's a confident coach. That's what that is. Knowing that his Chicago Bulls can come back and knowing that he has already clinched the best record in the NBA.
And his Bulls have won 5 in a row, 13 of the last 14. Reggie Lewis has 14, and Boston has opened up a 6-point lead. It's their biggest of the game. In one stretch, Chicago led by 6. The Bulls with Jordan and Paxson at the guards. Cartwright, Grant, Pippen up front. Michael Jordan is now 8 for 16. He's high man for Chicago with 18. Scottie Pippen 7 out of 14 for 17 points. While Parrish, Brown, and Lewis, as you saw, each have 12. Difficult shot for D. Brown.
When you go to that type of isolation, everybody stands around. You put a lot of pressure on one man to get a good shot off and then make it. That time, very little movement for the Celtics on offense.
As well as D. Brown is not that type of player that can go one-on-one with you and take a shot like that and make it.
Campbell playing Jordan well, and it's a 24-second violation.
The Celtics have been posting up very well this afternoon. So why don't you go back to that and stick with it? Ride Parrish, ride Pickney and McHale, because that's where you've been getting your points and easy shots.
Just underway in the third quarter. Now they double up on Parrish. Shot clock at 3. Lewis. And back comes Jordan. 3 on 2. Paxson. Fouled by Brown. He was looking for a push-off. But D. Brown is called for his first, and John Paxson is shaken up.
D. Brown felt that Paxson used the right arm as he was going to the basket to avoid the block shot, protecting himself and trying to shield off the shot blocker coming. There is the right arm. D. Brown may have a good complaint. Again, Brown coming to try and get it over the top, but that time Paxson did a good job of holding him off and getting away with the call.
Towel.
And right behind us, a collision. A fan just tripped up and showered Magic with a beverage. So we have our own little difficulty right. You okay, Magic?
I'm okay.
Look at this. This is
I feel terrible.
embarrassment.
Yeah, it is.
Unbelievable.
That's why I got to get back to playing basketball.
The reason that we're holding up play right now is there was a cut, John Paxson's nose bleeding, or a cut on the nose, and that new NBA rule that went into effect this season, where if there is a cut, an opening, the game must be stopped. The trainer come out, attend to it, either cover it up, close it up, stop the bleeding before the player may return to the game.
That's a good point. And also, I didn't know it was physical sitting here. it's getting
Combat zone back here.
And the thing about it is, she missed Marv and Coach Fratello and spilled it all on me.
Coach Fratello guiding her in your direction.
Yes, yes.
John Paxson at the free throw line, which is a rarity. Okay, Magic? I don't know if you can take this.
They've been falling all over Magic all day.
If she's going to spill a beverage, spill the right beverage. Don't spill the wrong beverage on me. It's going to take him out because it's continuing to bleed with Paxton's nose.
So B.J. Armstrong has checked back in, replacing John Paxson. Celtics now lead at 57-53. Minute 45 gone by in the third, and a 20 now taken by Boston. B.J. Armstrong has been getting the playing time this season, and as a result, you can see the numbers have been going up. He's averaging just under 10 points per game.
I don't know if people ever gave B.J. Armstrong the credit he deserved coming into the league as an open shooter. He knocks down open shots. He has really increased his range. He is shooting over 40% from the three-point line. He is an excellent backup. There's a lot of teams, in fact, that would love to have him as their starting point guard.
And Percy, he can also pressure up court. He causes a lot of difficult situations for opposing point guards to bring the ball up, and he makes them use clock.
In fact, in the Chicago papers the other day, after Phil Jackson got his extension, the Bulls came out and said he's the next guy on the team that we have to take care of with a contract extension.
Steve Brown going too strong. Last touch by Boston.
Well, you want to sign him because Paxton is getting up in age, and you got a young man here who's going to be your future. You want to take care of him. That way you got Pippen, Jordan, BJ, all the young guys taken care of, and you know you got him. Grant.
John Paxson now 31 years old. There was some trade speculation concerning B.J. Armstrong back January and February. Said it did affect his play for a while, and then the Bulls did not make any moves at the trade deadline.
Sometimes no moves are your wisest and best moves.
Gamble. So both clubs have cooled off here at the start of the third.
Ed Pinckney, almost the next victim on the Cartwright elbow list after the last rebound.
I think he realized who he was trying to knock the ball from and got that head back. I think both teams now have to try to go inside because they've been taking a lot of jump shots.
Traveling violation called on Brown. So the Bulls get it back. 3 minutes have gone by. In the third, Boston leads by 4.
And something that usually backs up the statement of a lot of jump shots is a very low number of personal fouls. Right now, only 1 foul for both teams combined. So not a lot of slashing, driving to the basket, or inside play.
Ed Pinckney deflecting it out. The Bulls have 10 on the 24. And Phil Jackson is taking a timeout with 8:46 remaining in the third.
NBC is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft and Miller Genuine Draft Light, taking the country by storm. By Bugle Boy Company, a great-looking alternative to most men's clothes. And by Chrysler Plymouth, a division of the Chrysler Corporation, proud sponsor of the 1992 U.S. Olympic team.
Well, off the court, it's been a rugged season image-wise for Michael Jordan because of a series of events. The controversial book, Jordan Rules, the licensing uproar involving the Olympic team. Most recently, the disclosure of gambling debts. I asked Michael, in light of those recent developments, is he concerned about his image?
No, I mean, I think if anything has come out of this whole situation is hopefully people can view me as a person that makes mistakes and possibly is human. That's one thing that comes out of it. But, you know, I'm entitled to make a mistake, but I got to continue on. Hopefully I'm not judged too harshly for that from a public standpoint. But if I am, you know, for the little time that I've been in the public eye and on top in terms of the public, it's been fun. I've always been very happy with the success that I've received from a positive aspect, and negatively I got to learn from it and move on. I will not let it get me down, or certainly turn me against the game of basketball.
Michael Jordan is not going to be affected by this. First of all, he realized that he made a mistake. He said that, and he's going to now just take care of that situation. You have to also realize that any man that's as popular as Michael Jordan is, not just in the United States, worldwide, whatever little mistake he makes is going to be a big mistake. It's not going to be like anybody else's mistake where it could be small. It's going to compound because of who he is. But I tell you, he's handled publicity, he's handled success very well, and he's still one of my favorite athletes.
Oh, what a move by Scottie Pippen. And the game is tied at 59 with 7.5 remaining in the third quarter. Reggie Lewis has hit his last 5 shots. Parrish. Grant getting it to Armstrong. Michael Jordan off the head fake. And Parrish able to get to the board.
Michael just couldn't get clear of the rim on the other side as he came up and under to do the reverse layup.
Brown with the pull-up. Yes. Boston 61 and Chicago 59.
He made a better decision that time to pull up for the little 10-footer, and D. Brown before had been trying to force it, and that time he didn't force it.
Foul called on the Celtics.
A few moments ago, Scottie Pippen had a decision to make. Give it up to Michael on the left, BJ on the right, or finish it myself. He decided to take that one himself. Jordan, the quick spin move on the baseline, tries to get up and under on the other side. Just a little bit too much rim in his way.
20 points for Jordan, 21 for Pippen. That last foul was called on D. Brown, but the Celtics will get it back.
Scottie Pippen feeding the first young lady in the front row under the backboard that time.
Celtics lead by 2. 6:25 remaining in the third quarter. Boston has won 7 of its last 8. They come off a loss Friday night at Indiana. Here's Gamble. So Kevin Gamble will go to the foul line. Kevin McHale making his way back in. Pippen is called for the foul. That's his second. Ed Pinckney sitting down.
If the Celtics are going to beat Detroit, this man here, Kevin Gamble, is going to have to be more of an efficient player. He's going to have to knock down that 17, 18-foot jump shot and with consistency if they're going to beat Detroit.
And Kevin Gamble has certainly made the rounds. Originally a third-round draft pick of Portland. Played only 9 games for the Blazers. As you saw, went the CBA route. Signed on as a free agent for Boston and has come a long way. It is an offensive foul on B.J. Armstrong. Let's go over to Ahmad for this report.
All right, Marv. John Paxson just suffered a scratch across the bridge of the nose, and he will return to action. Marv?
All right, so B.J. Armstrong remains in there, replacing John Paxson. Gamble with the open shot. Yes. And Boston leads 65-59.
Reggie Lewis' penetration made that jump shot possible for Kevin Gamble because he penetrated. He made Kevin Gamble's man come over, which is Scottie Pippen. He kicked it right to him for the easy 15-footer.
You normally associate a player that shoots above 50, 52, 53% as a guy who gets a lot of layups. But Gamble actually knocks out a lot of jump shots in that medium range. Last year, for a long part of the season, up around 59, 60% from the floor. This year, over 52.
Grant with the follow. And the Celtics now lead it by 4. Kevin Gamble, the only player in the top 20 in both field goal and free throw percentage. He was certainly getting the shot opportunities when both Bird and McHale were sidelined by injury. McHale lost it.
Chicago ball.
So the Bulls take over. Chicago at 61 and 13. Best record of the NBA. They have won 5 straight, 13 of the last 14. And they've won 8 in a row on the road. If they can win their final 4 road games, that'll be the best road record in a 41-game road season. A travel called on Cartwright.
The Celtic defense is really playing outstanding. I mean, the team, the players are really playing as a team, outstanding defense. Not individually, but as a team, cutting off a lot of the passing lanes. For the Bulls have to now resort to really a perimeter game in a sense.
Gamble over Pippen. Michael Jordan given lots of room. We come up on 4 minutes remaining in the third. Here's a mismatch. Gamble played by Armstrong. Parrish. Armstrong pushing it down and held. So the foul is called on Gamble.
The time before on that offensive sequence for the Celtics, D. Brown should have gave the ball up to Robert Parrish just when it rotated to him. Robert Parrish was wide open. He held the ball 2 seconds too long. The defense closed and it made it a tougher shot for Robert Parrish. When the defense, somebody's double teaming like the Bulls just did, somebody is open. That time it was Robert Parrish. They missed it.
Cartwright has brought the Bulls within 2.
And that's why you hear so many times teammates say, so-and-so knows where to give me the ball, when to get it to me. He gets it to me at the right time because it's that split second in the NBA that you have to get a good shot off because the players recover too quickly. They know when they make a mistake, they better hustle back and make up for it somehow.
McHale. And Parrish gets the new 24. Cliff Livingston is getting set to come on for the first time. Paxson getting a piece of it. Gamble stopped by Pippen. Shot clock at 3. Offensive foul.
Scottie Pippen on that one defensive sequence not only rotated out to challenge a shot and block it, then recovers and winds up taking a charge defensive. You talk about making a coach happy. A block shot, a charge on the same defensive play. Terrific.
And D. Brown sits down after collecting his 4th. He's replaced by John Bagley, so Brown leaves with 14 points. Lewis got a piece of it. Michael Jordan telling us earlier that Reggie Lewis does bother him at times because of the long arms and the big hands.
And that time Michael thought he had drawn enough contact to deserve 2 free throws, but did not get the whistle.
Well, he forced the contact that time. Reggie had cut him off, and then he jumped into him and caused the contact.
And Lewis is fouled with 2:33 remaining in the third. A timeout taken. Today's Bill of Genuine Memory takes us back to the 1986 Eastern Conference playoffs, where Michael Jordan put on quite a display despite losing to the Celtics in double overtime. Michael with 63 points. A Boston Garden record that holds up to this day. Michael Jordan with 63. Wilt Chamberlain once hit for 62. Elgin Baylor had 61 points. In recognition of that great moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund.
That 85-86 season was the one that Michael Jordan had broken a bone in his foot, played in only 18 games, averaged just over 22 points in those 18 games, 450 minutes, and then comes back to have that type of playoff game.
But this shows the maturity of a Michael Jordan. And what people don't understand is, at that time, he had to score 63 points because he couldn't get enough points from his teammates. Now he understands that I don't have to dominate the game. I get my teammates in it early. I dominate when I have to, when it's my time, when it's only Michael Jordan time. And that's fourth quarter mainly, the most of the time.
Here in the third, Jordan has hit only 1 out of 5 from the field. Livingston. And the rebound handled by Pinckney. Boston 66. Chicago 63 as we come up on 2 minutes to go in the third. And Louis Grillo with a call away from the ball against the Bulls. It's on Jordan. That's his second. Only the third team foul called on Chicago. Rick Fox is back. He is up front now with Ed Pinckney and Kevin McHale, Reggie Lewis, John Bagley. At the guards, Lewis with a swing away, played so well by Jordan.
Jordan really got after him that time. He's been crowding him the entire game. That's what's given Lewis the chance to get by him on that first step. That time, Michael stopped him all the way.
And the Bulls have certainly stepped up their defensive play here in the third. That's an illegal defense called against the Celtics, and that is a warning.
I don't know of too many guys that can take Michael Jordan 25 feet from the basket and try to break him down. It's very tough because of his quickness and his strength. Michael Jordan is extremely quick and strong.
Jordan getting inside, and it's Grant with the follow. Boston leads by 1.
Lewis can hurt you in a lot of different ways. Offensive rebound, steals.
Kevin McHale providing the Celtics with a 3-point lead. Crowd has been into it right from the start. The usual capacity crowd, 14,890, 533rd straight sellout here in Boston. And Michael Jordan, only his second field goal of the third quarter, has 22 points in all. The Bulls now trail by 1.
Because of the way Michael Jordan can control the basketball, almost every dribble of his potentially becomes an escape dribble, a chance for a shot.
McHale again, so he has located the touch. 10 points for Kevin McHale. Celtics lead by 3.
It's not only good for Kevin McHale, but it's also good for the Celtics driving for the playoff. If Kevin is on, that means the Celtics are going to be on.
Jordan, goal! Kept alive by Henry, but he's rejected by Pinckney. Rick Fox trying to return to John Bagley, but it's broken up.
Excellent job of transition defense by Chicago. The Celtics had numbers, 3-1, in fact, to start out, but Cliff Livingston with the hustle got a piece of the ball, knocked it out of bounds.
Now Stacey King has checked in for the first time. Bill Cartwright will sit down. 20 seconds to go, third quarter. Last touch by Paxson. Now Fox will throw in. 1 second differential between the 24 and the game clock. Bagley works it down. Oh, he was looking for McHale. It was open. Here comes Jordan for 3. After 3, the Celtics over the Bulls by 3. Michael Jordan, 10 for 24 for 22 points. Reggie Lewis leading Boston with 17. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after these messages and a word from your local station.
Transmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Welcome back to the Boston Garden. A low-scoring third quarter. Chicago only 16 points. Boston only 15, and the Celtics lead at 70-67 after 3.
Well, one thing that Chicago did do.
We drove from Montreal to see Larry, Michael, and Ahmad.
You mentioned there down the right side, these small prints. Happy 25, Marv. Meaning that they
My
wish
birthday,
you well
thank you.
because of 25 years of service, which you were honored for Tuesday night at Madison Square Garden with the Knicks. 25 years.
You should not feel bad about the fact that your name was nowhere to be seen. Obviously, in Canada, they have not yet heard of the czar of the tennis world.
Well, let me get my congratulations.
Thank you. As Paxson opens up this fourth quarter, and a loose ball foul has been called. It's on Stacey King. Stacey King making his first appearance of the game. He came on in the final seconds of the third. He is up front now with Pippen and Grant. And Paxson and Armstrong at the guard. Celtics with Bagley and Lewis in the backcourt. Pinckney, Fox, and McHale up front. Here's Bagley.
Well, the Celtics have two mismatches out there. Reggie Lewis, Paxson is guarding Reggie Lewis. And that one right there, Kevin McHale, turnaround jumper on Horace Grant. And I think they should ride both of those players in the fourth quarter.
The Bulls recognized it right away that Grant was going to be in trouble, so they came immediately with BJ to double team. The problem is Kevin just keeps the ball up high, shoots it over.
Grant set up off the nice pass from King. And the foul, so Horace Grant will go to the line.
A guy that just does his job, knows his role, doesn't get a whole lot of shot attempts, but when he gets them, he makes them. Grant, 5 for 7 in the game thus far.
Foul committed by Reggie Lewis. Horace Grant, a superb offensive rebounder. In his 5th year out of Clemson. Went the goggles route last season, discarded them in the playoffs, and then brought them back for game 2 of the finals. And after he put the goggles back on, he did shoot better. Once again, the double up by the Bulls. Bagley lost it. Last touch by the Bulls.
He again should have swung it over to Fox. You know, he tried to go between two players and almost caused a turnover. Luckily, one of the Bulls hit their hand.
Reggie Lewis throws it home. Celtics lead 74-69. Minute and a half gone by in the fourth quarter. Boston doing it today without Larry Bird. Armstrong stepped out. Bird sideline with back spasms. And Boston upgrading has played very well as they try to get one out of the 4-game set against Chicago. The 3 previous games were blowouts. Lewis, Fox with the rebound and decides to bring it out, but he's tied up. Off the steal. Here's Pippen. Rebounded by King. Able to spin and hit.
To me, you could see the determination in Scottie Pippen's eyes from the time he started out on the break, got the ball, he was going to the basket. He's here to win this basketball game.
McHale the one-hand route off the spin.
I tell you, if they get him going, watch out for the Celtics in the playoffs. They're going to be extremely tough to beat with him playing well and Larry Bird back healthy.
Well, as we discussed at the start, King was fouled by McHale. This is such a fragile ball club because of the injury problems suffered by McHale and Bird right throughout.
To you by Coors Light. The silver bullet is the right beer now. By Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza right now for our hot, delicious, better-than-ever pizza. And by Toyota, reminding you to always buckle up. Do it for those who love you.
Well, on our never-ending quest to bring you all the inside stuff, what it takes to bring you a basketball game, this is the audio board, and this is the way we make everybody talk, and you're able to hear them at home. This is Marv's mic, and then Mike's mic, and Magic's mic. Now, Marv had a 25th celebration, 25 years with the Knicks on Tuesday, and we have been hearing about it almost too much in the last week or so. But, Marv, let me just ask you one time, how was it last Tuesday night? Marv, how was it?
Ahmad, I wish you'd put my microphone.
See, if I don't want to hear him, I just turn him off like that, see? Because I'm tired of hearing about that. But let me hear Mike and Magic talk. Go ahead, Mike and Magic, you guys take it. Marv, take a break.
Well, we're back after this timeout on the Boston Garden floor. 9:23 remaining. Boston up 76-71. Now 76-72 as Stacey King hits the free throw. And Magic right now, Chicago in a little bit of trouble with their offense.
Well, it looked like he's going to rest Michael and just play Scottie Pippen probably a couple more minutes. So if the Celtics just hang in there, they'll be playing against the reserves, and they could win this game.
See, Marv,
Boston up 76-73.
Marv, now you know how it feels when someone else controls all your airtime. Here you go. Take it back, Marv.
The sophistication of his technical expertise is just awesome.
We control your future, your destiny.
Kevin McHale has hit his last 5 shots, and Boston leading at 78-73. I have now counted within the last 3 weeks 12 plugs for inside stuff. Just little subtleties that seem to pop up when Ahmad's microphone is on. Scottie Pippen to the free throw line. And Scottie is now 3 out of 6 from the line. He's a 78% free throw shooter.
Well, to me, when you're missing your pet shots, as Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan has been doing today, that's just a sign of not being into it.
Boston by 4. You mentioned earlier you feel that winning 69 games just doesn't mean that much. Also, the fact that Larry Bird is not on hand has taken some of the sting out of it for Chicago. Here's Pippen off the steal. He lost it. Back comes Bagley. 3-on-2. McHale. And Boston leads by 6.
That's another play of Scottie Pippen not being into it. It's nothing for them to gain, because he normally completes that play 9 out of 10 times.
Pippen, the great ability to lead a fast break, so once the block comes up and it lands in Scottie's hands, usually good things happen at the end. He just loses the handle as he's trying to cross the ball over to his teammate filling the left lane.
Foul called on McHale. Will Perdue coming back in. Here's Robert Parrish. Magic, you have spent so much time on this Boston Garden court, and players often talk about the dead spots on the floor. Was it a problem for you?
Of course, all the 4 corners are dead, so you got to stay away from them corners. But in terms of the building, this is the best shooting building in all of basketball. Every player says the same thing. You can shoot. You can see the basket, see the hoop very well here, and that's why players enjoy playing here, besides the mystique.
John Bagley giving Boston a 6-point lead. Very friendly rims here in Boston.
Soft. Shooter's touch.
And the backdrop is good.
Yes, very good. Guys like Paxton love to play and shoot here. They can see that it's a big basket. It's bigger than what you see, really.
Harris with the rejection of Perdue. And it will be Celtic ball. Last touch by Scott Williams.
The rookie getting a lesson from the veteran, Robert Parrish, saying, go ahead, give me your best one, and let me just send it out of here.
They really got this crowd going.
Fox. It has been an enthusiastic crowd from the start. Shot clock down to 6. There's Pippen. He had a force. Parrish with the rebound. 11 rebounds for Robert Parrish. Celtics with the ball, lead by 6.
Big decision for Chris Ford whether to play Bagley or Sherman Douglas in the backup point guard role in the final games of the regular season. It's a hard one.
Well, John Bagley has hit 3 out of 5. He has 6 points. And a timeout being taken by Chicago. Biggest lead of the game for the Celtics.
NBC next weekend.
Well, a nice touch here at Boston Garden. Couple of fans holding up number 32, and the crowd has reacted.
Oh, it's great. Like I said, they're the most knowledgeable basketball fans in all of NBA. Whether you're playing against them, every time that we have won a game, they still respected our team, and I really enjoyed it. Plus, just like I missed the classic matchups against Larry Bird, I'm sure they miss it too.
Patrick, I think you are contributing to psyching up the crowd in terms of psyching up the home club here.
Well, I don't know if Detroit likes that too much.
Boston with its biggest lead. Jordan coming right back to cut it to a 6-point Celtic advantage.
And Phil Jackson saying, okay, here we go. We're going to make our run, take a shot at this win. Michael's going back in, and let's get after it right now.
6 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. The 3 previous games between these two clubs were all blowouts for Chicago. Hits the 3.
So we started to mention before the tough decision for Chris Ford. In fairness to Sherman Douglas, he did slightly sprain that ankle once again. It's been bothering him, but Chris Ford just doesn't honestly know which guy to go with. He kind of rides in a hot hand. We're talking about a hot hand. Michael Jordan again with the jumper.
And Michael has 26. So the Celtics lead at 87-80. Sherman Douglas not happy about the lack of playing time recently, but has not complained. Says he has accepted his role, although he's not particularly pleased. Fox with a spectacular move, and Boston leads by 9.
This is not a time in the season to be complaining about minutes. Take your role, accept it, and go out there and play hard, or sit on the bench, whatever it is.
On the line for the Bulls, that road win streak of 8 straight. They have won 5 straight games overall, 13 of the last 14. Shot clock at 5. Fox has the force. McHale sees it. The Bulls down by 9 points with 4:20. And that is a backcourt violation.
All the little things that just losing your concentration will wind up happening. Fast breaks when you lose the ball. The pass that you assume is going to get there, they just don't work.
A timeout called with Boston up by 9. Well, our staff with some detective work. That is the game ball, and it is stamped Houston Rockets. What's going on here?
Listen, for years, People have been complaining about when you come here to play, the Celtics will do anything. Cold locker rooms, hot locker rooms. Now, obviously, stealing basketballs from shoot-arounds from the opponents.
That's probably the ball left from that championship they played them. Red Auerbach.
Now, Red would have nothing to do with that.
Red's happy right now. He just saw that on TV, and he said, another one that we got away with almost.
4:15 remaining in the fourth. The pressure on Bagley. Jordan got a piece of it. It'll be Celtic ball with 15 on the 24th. Kevin Gamble went flying into the crowd. Bagley played by Paxson. 10 on the shot clock. Down to 3. And back come the Bulls. Down by 9 with much time remaining. Jordan. Crowd wanted to travel. He slipped. Michael Jordan is now 12 for 27. Has not had a good shooting day. They isolate Parrish with Cartwright. Rebounded by Grant.
The problem that the Celtics are having right now, they're taking too much time off the clock to get into their offense. They got to go quicker. They got to stay aggressive, because if you let the Bulls hang around and let Michael take over this game, they could lose this game.
And John Paxson cuts it to a 7-point Celtic lead. 10 points for Paxson.
Bulls all season have played for a spurt. One moment in the game where they can run it off, so capable of scoring points quickly.
And Grant took a shot, and I'm sure very pleased that he was wearing the protective goggles. Gamble picks up his 4th.
Well, when you turn to go after the basketball, sometimes it just doesn't come easy. Those arms and hands get involved.
And the Celtics are over the limit. Chicago with only 1 team foul. Horace Grant to the line. He is only 1 for 3 from the free throw line. A 74% foul shooter. It is now Boston 89 and Chicago 83.
See Reggie Lewis making sure he keep his eye on Michael Jordan so he won't come flying in there. Every team is aware of that play now.
Yes, Lewis setting a pick on Jordan. Now Lewis at the other end being guarded by Jordan. Last touch by Chicago. Kevin McHale claiming it should be a leg block, so they should get the 24
and
instead
if it's
of 12.
an intentional kick, right, exactly, he wants the new 24 set, which he's not getting.
The officials say no, it's 12 on the shot clock. And that's a foul on Jordan. But it is a non-shooting foul.
Well, when you crowd someone the way Michael is crowding Lewis, and then the offensive player swings down and into you with those arms, elbows, and hands. Here's the swinging coming right there. There's going to be some contact, most likely.
John Bagley has played a major role since coming on for D. Brown, who had the hot hand early. Campbell works off the pick, finds McHale. Feeling for Grant. Then spins and hits.
He's got the best post moves in all of basketball, the best footwork in all of basketball. Beautiful up and under move.
20 points for Kevin McHale.
And that's Kevin McHale.
Here's Paxson. Oh, he bangs it home. You can't shoot much lower than that. Boston leads 91-86, 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Lewis going to the left hand. Rebounded by Grant. The Bulls put the ball down by only 5. Paxson off the dribble. And McHale able to control the ball.
Kind of unusual to see Paxson being the one-on-one.
Kevin Gamble extends to a 93-86 lead, and Phil Jackson immediately calls for the timeout. A minute and 28 remaining in the fourth. When we come back, it'll be Chicago ball down by...
Kevin McHale had been setting up Grant with the high one-arm jump hook. Grant thought he'd block it from behind. Instead, McHale showed it and stepped back underneath him. Then, as he's on his way down court, he said, "Ooh, I can still do that one." Up and under, Kevin McHale.
Well, Kevin McHale has 20 points. Robert Parrish has 12 points and 11 rebounds. So the big two have come through this afternoon.
And the Bulls bench has been on the quiet side. McHale off the bench for 9 out of 14 for his 20. Chicago has, well, they've just used their 20, so they now have 2 full timeouts remaining, while Boston has 3 left.
And the Boston Celtics have gotten this lead and done all this without D. Brown being on the court. So John Bagley is making a statement to Coach Ford that, hey, look, we can play well with me on this court. I want some minutes during the playoffs, and he's doing an outstanding job, Bagley, today.
In actuality, John Bagley is more of a pure point guard than D. Brown.
A look at the remaining schedule for the Boston Celtics as they are battling for home court advantage in the first round, with Detroit still alive in terms of chasing the leaders of the Atlantic Division, the New York Knicks. Here's Pippen, rebounded by Cartwright. Boston at Cleveland on Tuesday, then home for the Knicks Wednesday. Jordan tries the 3, and he is way off. So Michael is now 12 for 28, although he has 26 points. The foul given by Paxson with a minute 10 remaining, and Boston up by 7. Again, a non-shooting foul, 13 foul called on the Bulls.
I thought after that 22nd timeout by Chicago, Phil Jackson might bring in his downtown specialist, Craig Hodges, to try and launch a few threes. I know he's been sitting for a long time, but nobody does it better than Hodges, putting points on the board, a lot of them, quickly.
Yes, Hodges has not played at all this afternoon.
He's one of those guys who don't need any warm-up time. He can come out and fire it right away.
Shot clock at 6. Bagley blocked by Pippen. Here's McHale. Rebounded by Parrish. And the Celtics get the new 24. And now the foul is called, so the Bulls go over the limit.
I'm telling you what, it may be my imagination, but when the Celtics swung that basketball, that 24-second clock kind of slowed down a little bit so that McHale had plenty of time to shoot that one.
Are you forgetting where we are?
No, I'm not. I mean, I thought this thing was going to be gone a long time ago. He tees it up in his hand, turns the laces, and shoots it.
Watch this, that 1 second, look at that. 1, still 1, still 1, still 1, still 1.
I forgot it was supposed to go to 0.
Red card down and said, hold that 1 second.
Reggie Lewis still has 2 shots coming up. He hit the free throw. He released early, and the officials waved it off. They said they were not set, so it was not official. Kevin McHale hearing it from the crowd. 20 points for McHale. And a timeout is called with 34 seconds remaining in the fourth. The Bulls are down to their final timeout. Celtics have 3 left, 34 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. And Boston in front of Chicago, 95-86. The Celtics gunning for their first win over the Bulls this season. The 3 previous games were wipeouts. The average margin of victory against the Celtics this season by Chicago has been 25 points.
This was a statement game for the Celtics. They had to win this for their confidence if they're able to reach the second round and meet the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs. So great effort. They controlled the tempo, didn't let the Bulls get out to that monster first quarter leads like they had in the previous 3 games. And Detroit Pistons are probably not feeling too good right now because they probably counted this game in the bag for themselves when they found out Larry Bird was not playing.
Yes, this victory by Boston would give them a 1.5-game lead over Detroit. Robert Parrish, who has been on fire at the foul line. He's 3 for 3 today. He's hit 20 in a row, 30 of the last 31. And another timeout called by the Bulls with 23 seconds remaining. And Bulls hearing it from the crowd off that timeout. It's their final timeout. Coming up next, NBC serving up the Family Circle Cup Tennis Final from Hilton Head, South Carolina. It'll be Gabriela Sabatini and Conchita Martinez. Martinez, red hot, clay court specialist out of Barcelona. She has made her way to the finals in 3 straight tournaments now. So it'll be Sabatini and Martinez. Family Circle Cup Tennis. That is next, right here on NBC. Michael Jordan had been on a roll for 4 straight games, averaging better than 40 per game. Did not have a good one at home on Friday against the Clippers, and has not shot well here this afternoon. 12 for 28 for his 26 points.
Well, Michael Jordan is entitled to have a game or two along the way where it just is not what we come to expect of him, which is one of those superhuman efforts. Yet he still manages to produce, has 26 points for his team, and played as hard as he could play out here today.
Well, he's definitely my choice for the MVP this year. But he's not going to have a Michael Jordan type game from here on out. I don't expect that from him. I don't think that Coach Jackson expects him to have that. It's time for some rest. Get ready for that first round. And make sure that he's not only healthy and strong, but his mind. He's gone through a lot in this last month, not only on the basketball court, but away from the court. So it's time to get away, relax, get his mind refocused on what he has to do to lead his Bulls to the second championship if they can do it.
Well, the Bulls at 61-13. They have a 5-game win streak going. Following today, they will have only 7 games remaining, so they will not be able to match the LA Lakers win total of 69 victories back in 1972. 23 and 4/10 seconds to go in the 4th. Pippen for 3. And it will be Celtic ball with 18 seconds left, so Boston will make it 44-31. They will move 4.5 behind the Knicks, who will be getting underway shortly at Cleveland. And the Chicago Bulls road win streak comes to an end at 8. The crowd responding to the Boston Celtics, who have defeated the Chicago Bulls by the score of 97-86. Boston led by the combination of Reggie Lewis and Kevin McHale. They each had 20. Robert Parrish, 14 points, 13 rebounds. D. Brown with 14. Michael Jordan, the high man for Chicago, with 26. Scottie Pippen at 22. The Bulls with only 35 points in the second half. The Bulls with only 16 points in the third quarter. And that is something that you know Phil Jackson will not be pleased about.
Well, Phil Jackson's offense for the entire season is an equal opportunity offense. Everyone getting involved with an understanding that Jordan and Pippen are going to carry the load when they have to. Right now in these final games down the stretch run here, what happens is Sometimes the balance isn't quite the same. Sometimes the one-on-one stuff steps forward rather than blending in with the team, and it's a little bit tougher to produce points. Plus, to the Celtics' credit, they dug in and played aggressive defense.
And Magic, I think with that Celtic 52% shooting in the first half, another point that the Bulls will be displeased about, because it was not the usual effective swarming defense that the Bulls show.
Well, they're not motivated. They're not motivated to have to come out here and stop the Celtics. They're not going to be motivated to stop any of the other teams that they're going to play, because their whole thing is now playoff time. And it's hard to get up for these games when there's nothing to gain for them. And you're just going to have to wait and see what happens if they can pick it right back up when the playoffs start.
All right, so the Chicago Bulls are now at 61-14 for the season, as they have been beaten by the Boston Celtics here in Boston by the score of 97-86. Next weekend, a special Saturday edition of the NBA on NBC. Utah Jazz taking on the LA Lakers. Coverage beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with NBA Showtime. Then Sunday, an NBA doubleheader starting at 1 with the Atlantic Division leading New York Knicks going against the Detroit Pistons, followed by the San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trailblazers. Coming up next, the Family Circle Cup Tennis Final from Hilton Head. Gabriela Sabatini going up against Conchita Martinez. For Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Bob Costas, and Magic Johnson, I'm Marv Albert. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.